almost burnt my script up. Anyway. Today, our worship leader, Reverend Barbara Myers, will share wisdom about a difficult question. What to do when someone we know has a mental health disturbance. This can be quite vexing and uncomfortable. Should we just avoid them for now or forever? When I was 15, my older brother, Larry, changed. He had been someone I looked up to. Larry was a bigger man than me. He always seemed confident, successful, and well-groomed. Now attending college. He was at the time. Then one morning he came up to me and said, "Donnie, who do you see?" I recoiled from the shock of this strange question and said, "It's you, Larry." "No, who do you really see?" All I could think of was, "I don't know," and I left the room. It wasn't many days later that the onrush of schizophrenia overcame him and he was in the county hospital. He was in and out of the facilities for years, over the years. My younger brother and I left home to complete our education in another state. Part of the reason was to escape the sad situation at home. I would go to visit Larry occasionally when he was institutionalized and I was back in town. Sometimes his hallucinations were hard to handle. "Don't you see these evil elves?" he said. "They decapitate people." The poor man, he really believed that. Luckily, Larry did better than most suffering this disorder. And the last decades of his life, he was able to live in an apartment near mom and dad. We had fun times as a family, like when Jerry and I rented an RV and we all went to Monterey. That's Larry with our father in this picture. Yeah, he's 6'4". He's a big guy. That's December 1987. Larry helped take care of Mom after Dad died. I love my brother Larry. He's gone to his rest now, but I still love him. I wish I had known early on how to just listen and be there with my brother when he felt hurt and alone, instead of running away. I wish I had heard the message of Reverend Barbara back then. Come, let us worship together. Let's see. We're going to have a chalice lighting here. Please join me in this unison chalice lighting. Hey, wait a minute. You're stealing my thunder. Hey, that baby's really burning. It's flaming on. Okay, the foundation of Mission Peak is love. We are a spiritual community of open minds, nurturing growth and healing in ourselves and all people. Together, we strive to live compassionately and courageously as we work for a nonviolent, just, and sustainable world.
Good morning. Good morning, Mission Peak. Hey, good to see you, Bruce. Welcome to Mission Peak UU congregation. My name is Jay Steele. My pronouns are he and his, and I'm a member of the board. I'm your treasurer. We are so glad you joined us this morning. For all you folks here and all you folks on Zoom. I'm going to start out by highlighting some current announcements. Number one is next Sunday, June 1st, we're having the music salon down at the Methodist. And all are invited to play or sing or recite at the Methodist Sanctuary. It's going to be at 2 o'clock. To participate, and we welcome everybody to participate, you can play, sing or recite a song, or recite a story. To participate, contact Paul Davis, right there, or Joanne Schreiner, right there on the piano. And to sign up if space is still available. I believe space is still available. Yes. To attend, just show up at 2 o'clock next Sunday to enjoy talent from both of our congregations. There will be the choir, I believe, the bell choir, individual performances, including some lovely folks who are performing today, and hope everybody can come. Also, the weekend after that, June 8th, we're having our annual meeting, and it's really important that everybody come, either on Zoom or in person if you can. Important decisions are being made about the next coming year for our congregation. And lastly, but not leastly, the following Sunday, yeah, it doesn't get boring around here. The following Sunday, we're having a Juneteenth picnic at Lake Elizabeth Park, Sunday, June 15th after service, in the same lovely location as last year. Please silence your electronic devices. Unitarian Universalism is a radically inclusive, non-doctrinal, non-dogmatic, open-minded, and open-hearted faith. We are people who are coming at truth from different paths. We gather together across different identities, experiences, and beliefs to affirm and promote the inherent worth of every person. Together we see our love as to love the hate out of this world, heal the hurt in ourselves and one another, and be the change we'd like to see in the world. If you're a guest for the first time, any guests for the first time? Nope. Then all of you know, we have hybrid services. We use chat and Zoom or a book near the welcome table to enter shares and joys and concerns, personal milestones of importance, which will be read aloud in the service. We also have social hour after the service where we get to visit with one another. For Zoom folks in breakout rooms or on the patio for us folks here. The worship associate, thank you, Eric, for being worship associate today. Worship host, sorry. We'll give you more information about this after the service. Annette from membership team will put a link in the news in the chat about our weekly newsletter, and we encourage you to join anything that speaks to you. And we are so glad to be together today. Lastly, let's end by asking everybody in Zoomlandia and everybody in Cole Hall to wave to one another and feel the joy of being part of one large, beloved community. Welcome and thank you to our friends and members near and far.
This is Eric's solo.
Buddy Son Story Time.
The Rabbit Listened by Corey Dorfeld. One day, Taylor decided to build something. Something new. Something special. Something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. What a shame! I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear. Roar, roar. How horrible! I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Roar, roar, roar. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do. I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering. So the elephant left. One by one they came. The hyena. Let's laugh about it. The ostrich. Gulp. Let's hide and pretend nothing happened. The kangaroo. What a mess. Let's throw it all away. And the snake. Shh. Let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody, so eventually they all left. Until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together, they sat in silence until Taylor said,
Please stay with me.
The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again.
I can't wait.
Taylor said.
It's going to be amazing.
The end.
Please subscribe.
We take up a collection on Sundays for the simple reason that our purpose in gathering is for more than ourselves. We want to make sure that the ministries that we need, the ones that infuse worth and dignity into our children, our youth, and programs of learning and leadership, and our ministries of anti-oppression and our work in the larger world are in place to meet the needs of others. We hope you will make a contribution towards these worthy causes by mailing your check to Mission Peak UU congregation at the address on the screen. You can also use the bill pay option in your online banking or drop your check in the Mission Peak mail slot at the office down at the end, or pay online with a credit or debit card. Thank you for supporting and sustaining the work of our members, friends, and staff. Your contributions make loving, learning, and leadership more possible.
One of the things that allows us to find hope and meaning, especially in hard times, is the love and support that we show one another. If you have a joy or a concern that by sharing with this caring community might bring you the encouragement and resilience you're needing, please write it briefly now in the chat if you're online. If you're here in person, you can use the book that's over there that says, on the table that says Joys and Concerns. And while the music plays, you're welcome to drop a stone in the stone garden to reflect the joy and concern. If your need is personal, you can always contact me or our parish minister, the Reverend Greg Ward, for a conversation.
Ocean. like the raindrops. I got tears like the raindrops in my soul. And I got strength like a mountain. I got strength like a mountain. I got strength like a mountain in my soul. I got strength like a mountain. I got strength like a mountain. I got strength like a mountain in my soul. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. All right. The murder of George Floyd, may we send prayers and renew our anti-racist efforts. Yes. And one more stone into the book, into the stone garden. For the last stone is for the hopes and hurts still too tender to escape our heart. We encourage everyone to contact those who have shared joys or concerns. In this way, we take part in the creation of caring community, keeping hearts and minds and ours and doors open. Okay.
Nate was maybe in his 30s. On Sunday mornings at the worship service, he would sit right in the front row. And he sat there, he'd rub his legs, he'd rock back and forth. He was a bit awkward, his voice loud, and from time to time he would disappear. One weekday, Donna, my wife and co-minister, and I were at a bridge party with the senior members of the congregation. They were mostly in their 80s, and we gathered in a nice suburban apartment. There were plenty of appetizers, serious card playing, and some light conversation until the hostess said, "I don't know how you put up with that young man fidgeting around throughout the service. It's just terrible." What happened next left me stunned. One octogenarian said, "You do know it's his medication that makes him do that." A retired public health nurse told us she had spoken to him and knew what was bothering him. A former university professor said, "I was once institutionalized." And someone else said, "My son has bouts like that." Neither Donna nor I said one word. And what was amazement turned into pride. I knew why Nate kept coming to church. It was not about the sermons, whether scholarly or entertaining. It was not about universalism, our professed belief in a loving God. It was our lived theology, God made manifest in the love that surrounded him.
somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Ain't gonna last long. Not to lean on me. Somebody to lean on. You just call on the brother when you need a hand. I all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, well, I ride up the road, I'll share your load. If you just call me, when you need a friend, call me. I'm just a bird, call me. This is not pretend, call me. Lean on me, call me, call me, call me.
Beautifully played and sung. Thank you so much. But what do you do if someone is mentally ill and disrupting your congregation? I've heard this question several times in my mental health ministry. I've spoken to dozens of congregations about mental health. My goal is to convince them that it's important to address this in a congregational setting. But I've heard from them concerns about not knowing what to do and being worried about what they would do if someone in their congregation became so distressed that they would disrupt a meeting or a service. I've heard stories of congregations that have told people they weren't welcome after a particularly hurtful situation. I've even heard stories about people who discuss their mental health problem with a minister, and the minister has told them to leave the congregation and not come back until they're better. You don't know how difficult it was for me to hear that. When involvement in a congregation was one of the things that helped me recover, a relationship that has confirmed by much recent research on mental health and religion. In seminary, I was assigned to read a book on congregational life that stated that mentally ill people are manipulative and it's best not to have them in your congregation. I actually confronted the author of that book, who was at Pacific School of Religion, so he was close by, telling him, in my experience, involvement with a congregation can be helpful to people struggling with mental health problems. After I spoke to him, he said he agreed with me and apologized. That was my first example of speaking truth to power as a ministry student. My professor was very happy with me, and I remember her repeating that story to people several times. These stories are very difficult for both congregations members who are trying to preserve safety and sacredness of their church home, and for the person who has been told to leave after mental health problems had led them to problematic behavior. When the congregation has been a religious home that has meant so much to him, that is particularly difficult. I've heard from people on both sides of the situation. There has to be a better way, a way that respects both the needs of the congregation and also those of the person who is struggling mentally and behaving in a publicly unacceptable way. I want to tell you today about a model that seeks to do just that. It's called the Companionship model. It was created by the United Church of Christ minister, the Reverend Craig Rennebaum, who worked for many years companioning homeless people with mental health problems on the streets of Seattle, Washington. It involves activities he found that were rooted in our natural capacities to be sensitive, compassionate, and concerned for another in distress. It's helpful and supportive of healing and recovery. It's a model for relational engagement, for getting proximate, which we've heard so much about recently, for engaging in the sacred presence that can happen between two people. After the Reverend Rennebaum became the executive director of an interfaith mental health organization called Pathways to Promise, the companionship model became one of Pathways' most important projects, and it remains that way today. This model involves training people who want to learn how to be companions to people who are struggling with isolation and distress. The idea is that a companion would sit with a struggling person, and if their behavior threatens the service or a meeting, would calmly suggest that the two of them go outside and sit together and talk to each other. This isn't getting rid of the struggling person, it is caring for the struggling person. It's understood that not everyone can do this, and it's also understood that it's not going to work in every situation. But I believe everyone wants to be listened to, and embracing a model that has sacred listening at its center is an important step in becoming a beloved community. At this year's UU General Assembly, the UU Mental Health Network is presenting a video workshop that discusses, in part, the companionship model. Here is a sneak preview of that part of our workshop. It's presented by our board member, Skylar Malan, who has been trained to be a leader teaching others about companionship.
Hello, I'm here to introduce you to the Pathways to Promise Companionship Program. The Become a Companion workshop teaches how to develop a public relationship with a person in isolation or distress. It originates from the belief in the mutuality in the relationship between two people. The principles of companionship are: companionship is a basic human relationship between two equals. It's a response to isolation and distress. It's not about fixing. It recognizes our need for relationship and community involvement. It's a public relationship and it aims for mutuality. Companionship fosters a period-limited, healing, human care relational connection with a person in distress to publicly support their recovery and wellness. Companionship supports wellness and recovery. The goal is to help others recover. It provides a public, socially supportive relationship that's foundational for recovery. Although there are similarities, each person's journey to recovery is unique. We travel with them in their distress. We listen for and hold hope, help them find their place in the community, and journey together as equals. Companionship involves the broader community for support. It underscores the importance of community involvement, recognizing that sustaining support often requires a collective effort from many individuals. The overarching goal of the companionship program goes beyond facilitating healing and recovery. It aims to facilitate individuals' restoration to community, fostering a sense of belonging. The relational connection is characterized by the companion's human care qualities of humility, understanding, mercy, agency, and nurture, which assist the companion in connecting with a person in distress. Distress can socially disconnect us from others, isolating individuals from crucial support, worsening mental health issues, and hindering recovery. 6 common sources of distress are mental health challenges, substance use disorder, poor physical health, trauma, social determinants, and loss and grief. The companionship model is a healing relational connection tool to support people in distress. The companionship relationship evolves through awareness, connection, partnerships, companionship and community expansion, and mutuality with a circle of care. Companionship's goal is to reach a growing mutuality to support another person in building a circle of care and support and an emerging sense of self. 5 markers of mutuality are trust and authenticity, personal responsibility, a circle of care, community, and connection. The 5 practices of companionship help to build trust, support a person in creating a circle of care, and move over time into an increasingly mutual relationship. Here are the 5 practices. Hospitality. Creating a safe, trusted space by welcoming, respecting, and sharing, and believing in the person's worth and dignity. Neighboring. Meeting and treating people on the common ground of our shared humanity. Side by side. Mutually journeying together. Listening. Hearing a soul story with heart, ear, and eye, attention, and respect. Accompaniment. Helping the person develop capacities and strengths, locate resources, and build a circle of care. We practice these with the people we companion with without any strings attached. The practices create the foundation of empathy, respect, and support, building trust and fostering a mutual relationship. The practices complement and support each other. They compose a way of life. With each practice, a thread of connection is formed. Together over time, these practices develop an ever-rich fabric of human connection between 2 people. The 5 practices are small efforts that combine to build trust and support in creating an equal and mutual relationship that leads to identifying a circle of care. The practice of hospitality approaches with respect, honoring the dignity inherent in every human being, creates a peaceful space, and shares calm, rest, and refreshment. We seek to establish a space that is sacred in the personal sense. Neighboring invites us to discover what we have in common, sets aside our power and privilege, and meets one another as equals. Because the soul thrives not in isolation, but in community. Side by side positions us to look out at the world together, acknowledge our different backgrounds and viewpoints, proceed with integrity, and not pushing, pulling, or imposing our own priorities. The aim is not to fix things, it's simply to be together, to be present, a way of sharing the world together. Listening opens us to another story. Hearing the person's own account helps us begin in the now and allows us to gently explore the past and future. It's an incredible gift to listen. Accompaniment listens especially for what the person says is their need, supports the individual in connecting with community resources, and helps build a circle of care. It's an act of faith, an outward sign of our belief that we are never alone. The process of accompaniment is to build trust, identify needs, identify resources, connect with resources, and transfer trust. The purpose of the Become a Companion workshop is to present you with the companionship model to integrate into your spiritual, personal, or professional life as a healing relational connection tool to provide support to people experiencing mental health or other challenges. You can register for our Become a Companion workshop on the UU Mental Health Network's website at uumentalhealth.org. Click on Training in the menu. Click on the Companionship Flyer button for more information about the practice. This is the Companionship Flyer. Click on the Register Here button to register for the class. I hope to see you in our next Become a Companion workshop.
Okay, so the UU Mental Health Network is going to offer companionship training. Thank you for listening to this promising practice of companionship. It's the goal of the UU Mental Health Network to get many people in many congregations trained as companions, helping us to grow into the beloved community. Thank you.
Sing along. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
Thank you. It's nice to have a choir behind us.
Please join with me in reciting these words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Whoa, that thing is insistent.
The words of the benediction come from the Reverend Roddy Bell Shelton Biggs, who was a member of the board of the UU Mental Health Network. Friends, thank you for your witness to all that exists on the margins. Thank you for your service and commitment to hold yourselves and one another in great steadfast love. Moving forward from this space, may we continue to nurture spiritual growth, and may we continue to travel along the winding pathway to healing from whatever brokenness or individuality we collectively hold, knowing that we do not journey in this path alone. Amen. Blessed be.
So Barbara, is the companionship on the UU website, is that live right now? So you're just going to type in companionship?